if your level funded process is go out, prospect, get census, get quote, sell case, leave until renewal, folks, I'm here to tell you that's a bad way to do business long term, and I'm here to show you a better way to do that, starting at the beginning or begin at your beginnings here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. It'll be a little less than that. I'm Tom Stein, and I'm with American Trust Administrators. We are happy to be here. We cover business advice for independent brokers that are from 5 to 200 enrolled employee lives. We've been doing it for a couple of decades, and we do it pretty darn well. So without further ado, let's jump into the difference between a renewal strategy and just a place case. Because as you know, as an independent broker, you can place a case fairly easily as compared to renewing a case. You can place it with the fly-by-night carrier and do a whole bunch of things that will drive down the price up front, but will make your life as the broker very miserable whenever you try to retain that client. And now, if you're sitting here saying, Tom, I just want the lowest rate, I don't care, I'm a churn and burn guy. Let me ask you one simple question. How much of your day do you actually spend talking to your clients? I would be willing to wager that most of your day is actually spent prospecting. So if you know that that's the math, if you know that most of your time is prospecting and only a bit of your day is selling, then what you really need to do is spend more of your time developing relationships that make it so that they will retain over time. That's the big difference here. If you are looking for a one-off solution, if you're a churn and burn guy and you're going to burn through the market and you're going to leave, well, first of all, this channel's not for you. But secondarily, this life is going to be very, very difficult. Retention is the name of the game. So whenever you're building out a strategy, you need to know what you need to know, which is how you get started in this. You need to get started with a deep dive with your client. You need to get started with gathering all of the information you can possibly gather about your client and their specific needs. This will enable you to build something custom for them. If you do not have this information, if you are going in there blind saying, I have this suite of products, I want them to buy one of these 3, then you are a salesman, not a consultant. And if they come to you because you offer them a dime in savings, they will leave you if someone else offers them another dime in savings. This is not a recipe for retention. This is a recipe for a hamster wheel. And frankly, that's not how professionals do it. So whenever you're trying to build a level funded strategy, realize that you need to start with the information. So the fundamental question that you would ask, it'd be very, very high level. Why has level funding grown so much that most of my clients are now moving over to this? A lot of people don't know this, but the majority of American health plans are actually self-funded or level funded, not fully insured. Now, small brokers, people who help 5 to 10 employee groups, they might think that's crazy. I thought they were all fully insured. No, they're not. And for those brokers who are still saying, level funded is just like fully insured, stop. It's not. It's a different animal entirely. Now, if you disagree with that, I would love to hear why. But level funding is not fully insured. And there are 3 main mechanisms that drive that. Number one, or they're regulatory. So number one is going to be the 3-to-1 age compression. In the fully insured market, it says that a 65-year-old can only cost 3 times as much as an 18-year-old. Okay, well, how does that help me, Tom? That's an interesting fact. Well, that means that if you're working with clients who have an average age of around 50 or less, if they go to a fully insured model, they're subsidizing the older people who are, in general, the wealthiest and the most established. If you are looking at that model saying that's unfair to the young and the poor, you're probably right. But that's part of the fully insured's design to try to manipulate reality to help out certain people. Number 2 is the idea of community rating. Inside of the fully insured world, they have to say if you are a super dangerous worker in a super dangerous industry, then you pay the same rate as someone who is in a very safe industry. Well, that's not right either. If you are a Harley riding fin fisher up in Alaska, then your medical care is going to be more expensive than somebody who's an accountant for accountants. This is the nature of life. So you're getting back to reality. So if you're looking at your plan or your book of business saying, hey, I've got a lot of small-time manufacturers, I've got a lot of retailers, I've got a lot of service companies that are pretty conservative in their lifestyles, why is it that they're subsidizing the very aggressive lifestyle people? Well, they don't have to with level funding. And then number 3 is guaranteed issue. Now, this is the stickiest of them. But with guaranteed issue in the fully insured market, it says it doesn't matter what's going on health-wise. You're going to pay the same piece. Well, in level funding and self-funding, it says, no, we're going to price it to reality with one philosophical advantage, which is extremely sticky and difficult to get away from. When people know the cost of things, they will spend their money more prudently. In self-funding and level funding, the spending of those dollars is owned by the plan, which means if they don't spend it, they keep it. So it has a philosophical advantage against fully insured based on that. So those three advantages are why you've really seen the explosion of level funding in the last decade. Now, ATA, we've been doing level funding, or it's now today called level funding. It used to be called partially self-funding or self-funding with stop loss or claims funding. It had a lot of names in the past, but what's today called level funding, we've been doing for about 4 decades. Now, why did it win earlier? Well, it's that philosophical advantage. You spend your money more prudently than you spend somebody else's, period. The Nobel Prize was given for that economic insight. Now, with that, you can now look at your business owners and say, all right, which ones of mine can I build a strategy around the inherent advantages of level funding? Do they have an average age of under 50? Are they in a moderately or very safe industry? And are they willing to bear the cost of their actual spend? Or on the fully insured side, they're going to be more likely to be over the age of 50, dangerous industries, and need to be subsidized by other people. They need to hide in the cloud or hide in the pool of everybody else's money because they're effectively treating that pool as a subsidy rather than as an insurance pool. Those are the big things that you're going to want to look at whenever you're trying to build a strategy. The first step is knowing what your actual advantages are with level funding as opposed to fully insured. Now, if you get value out of these videos, I appreciate you being here. Please like and subscribe. I'm happy to do this. We have thousands of brokers that are subscribed. We want to help the majority of Main Street keep their sovereignty and keep it away from the collectivizing or the aggregating and centralizing effects of Wall Street. So keep fighting for each other. Like and subscribe. Let's continue. The next piece that you're going to want to look at is the pricing. What does it cost me? Sometimes level funding is a better fit. Sometimes fully insured is a better fit. This is a hard question. Sometimes businesses cannot afford to go one way or the other. We live in a world of infinite wants and finite resources. This is the nature of man. Now, you can bemoan that and say that's not fair, but that inherent contradiction of man is why we have economic growth. It's why we have innovation. It's why we have technology, frankly. We are always trying to do more with less because we always want more. Now, this is the nature of man. We're never satisfied. We always want to grow. But it's also why we explore continents, why we climb mountains, why we have built airplanes. So it's not something to bemoan. It's something to accept. Humans, ever upward. We always want to strive for more. That's why you're listening to this channel. You're trying to become a better broker. You're trying to become a better advocate for your clients. And the first thing you can do is become more competent. And that's why you're listening. When you're learning and applying things, you will become more confident in these. So look at those philosophical advantages. Look at the 3-to-1 rate compression, community rating, the guaranteed issue, as well as the price for it. Realize that the tension inside of the system is necessary for the advancement of our medical apparatus. But there is something that we should be proud of as independent brokers around the country. We provide the majority of medical research, development, new treatments, and cures for the planet. Now, I'm very proud of our country. We are 4% of the world population, and we produce the lion's share of all of the new things that the entire world benefits from. Now, when we have more tension in our system, when people are fighting over the amount of dollars here, realize that that fight produces the innovations, the upward, the ever upward part of humanity that allows us all to live in a better future. If we want to have new treatments and cures for our kids, if we want them to have a better life for us, realize this is the fight we're in, the fight for the future of American medical, and therefore innovation for medical around the planet. A lot of people don't like that, right? A lot of people like simple answers to complex problems. Folks, those are the immature people. For the mature people, we understand that there's no such thing as a free solution. There's only trade-offs. This is the trade-off. I'm proud to be fighting by your side for small group, level-funded cases around this country. If you are here fighting for your clients, like, subscribe, come back for the next one, and keep on doing what you need to do, which is fight for our future and the independence of Main Street. All right, we'll see you in a bit.